we've got a drilling program that'll translate to additional resource, contingent resource potential. It'll translate to additional reserves. I would point out last year we booked our maiden reserve in less than 15 months, or around 15 months from listing, so not an insignificant achievement. But we'll do more of that.
Welcome back inside our proactive newsroom, and joining me now is David Casey. He is the CEO of D3 Energy. And David, it's good to see you. You're at our OTC studios in New York City.
Yes, I am in a cold, windy, chilly New York City.
Yeah, very much so. Well, good to have you along. Nice to see you. We're going to warm things up with exciting news that you have out from the company, talk with a number of different fronts. But before we get to that, maybe talk to everyone a little bit about D3 Energy and the company in general.
Yeah, look, D3 Energy is a helium and natural gas company with I suppose, our foundational asset in South Africa. More recently, we've acquired another asset, a helium, hydrogen and natural gas asset in South Australia, both incredibly attractive, quite different. One's more conventional and one is, well, I can only say unique. And the South African asset is without doubt one of the most unique assets I've ever been involved with.
Yeah, what makes it so unique?
Yeah, so we've got this system we've got a unique geological system in that this is a function of an impact crater 2 billion years ago, concentrated uranium. Uranium is the only thing that creates helium, concentrated the uranium. So you've got this source or super kitchen for uranium creating the helium. And we've got this biogenic gas system, gas that's created or generated by bacteria. And we've got the helium and the methane making its way to the surface along major or massive fault systems to where we capture it. And we capture it very cheaply.
Okay. Of the two projects, is one sort of the flagship? Do you work on one more than the other? Are you trying to raise them together? How does it work?
Well, I think fair to say that the South African asset is the flagship at the minute because it is unique. There are no other systems in the world where you've got this regenerating source. You've got this regenerating helium, this regenerating natural gas system. So it is unique, and it will outlive me. Why we also like South Australia, I'm going to get my south right here, South Australia, is that it's a massive structure. It has massive upside as far as helium and hydrogen is concerned. It's more of a conventional type of helium play, if there is such thing as conventional helium. But I'm hoping that in the next 6 to 12 months we'll progress that. We'll find a partner and we'll drill that asset as well.
Okay. So let's talk about this year. What could people expect? Obviously, South Africa is the focus right now. So tell me about what you're expecting to happen this year.
Yeah, so look, well, essentially it's more of the same. It's building what we did last year. So we've got a drilling program that'll translate to additional resource, contingent resource potential. It'll translate to additional reserves. I would point out last year we booked our maiden reserve in less than 15 months, or around 15 months from listing, so not an insignificant achievement. But we'll do more of that. So reserve upgrades, resource upgrades. Hopefully we announce a partner for South Australia. We've got some exciting other initiatives. We're in discussions with, as it turns out, our largest shareholder who's also a gas retailer in South Africa. We're hoping to progress those discussions and also announce an offtake agreement for the natural gas component of the gas stream. So yeah, I said it's pretty much more of the same, but building on a pretty good foundation.
Absolutely. We all know natural gas, but for those not familiar with helium, the need for helium is, as I was reading, is really ramping up, because people may not, they think of helium, they think of balloons, but it's a lot more than that. I mean, with our aging population, we're looking at, MRI machines, we're looking at missiles. Like it's amazing what helium's used for. It's
across the board. And look, I'm the first to acknowledge that I probably wasn't across the full spectrum of the uses for helium. The biggest consumer or purchaser of helium in the US used to be, well, still I suppose is General Electric, but for MRI machines. That's less so today, but that's being surpassed by anything that's got a semiconductor. So the biggest consumer of helium going forward will be the semiconductor industry, and everything's got a semiconductor in it. Your phone, your cars, everything that we touch today. It's a 21st century critical mineral. And I think that's why you've seen prices from 20 years ago go from $70 an MCF or unit equivalent to as high as 1,000 and 750 long-term contracts last year. It's back around the 450 to 500 today. So it is a critical mineral for essentially our critical 21st century life.
Yeah. And lastly, as I mentioned, you're in New York at the OTC. How important is U.S. investors to the future of the company?
You know what? This time last year, we weren't getting much traction, but we had to earn the right to have the US investor base start investing in us and investing in the OTC, and we've seen that. And in many respects, it probably jump started our run. So from this time last year, we were at probably 4.5, 5 cents Australian. Back end of last year, we peaked at 60, but we're trading around the 35 to 37 cents Australian today. And the OTC about 30 cents. The OTC has been incredibly important for us to build that US resource base. And I can see it only getting more and more important to us because of the understanding, particularly in the US, because it is the world's biggest economy, what helium ultimately means.
Absolutely. David, thank you so much. Good to meet you. Exciting times ahead for sure. And we look forward to following your story the whole way. So nice to see you. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
All right. David Casey, the CEO of D3 Energy.